Happy Mindfulness Monday, everyone. It is the last Monday of 2025. So glad that you're joining us today. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning mindfulness member, again, welcome back. Please know that you will be muted for the duration of our session today. Feel free to use that chat function to communicate with me and my colleague Brianna. You can share questions, thoughts, feelings, where you're joining from. If the snow is starting to fall again for you, would love to hear. And again, I do invite you to join us on camera. I do love to see you. Our next live English session will be on January 5th with one of the Hazies, either Nico or Devin, and we will be returning to the practice of embracing a beginner's mind. So I encourage you to join us for the first Mindfulness Monday session of the new year. You can join our other PD Health at Home programs through Wellness Wednesdays, Fitness Fridays, or expert briefings. And we have our Spanish language series, EP Salud en Casa. You can learn more about upcoming virtual programs and register at parkinson.org/PD Health. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Get my notes here for our session today, and I want to open this chat because we got a couple of comments in here. Joining from Bulverde words. Sorry, James, I don't know how to pronounce that word in Texas. Hello from the UK, Carol. So glad that you're here. Welcome from Manhattan, Marina. Hi, Teresa, joining from Oklahoma City. Northern Wisconsin, joining Mel. Over 12 inches of snow. Wow. I bet that's just such a beautiful winter wonderland, Mel. Barbara, welcome from Florida. And Kristen, welcome from Mexico. So grateful that you all are here today. Burlington, Vermont, Anthony, welcome. My sister is living there currently, so it's nice to see neighbors here. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Mohsen. So glad that you're here from Toronto. Happy holidays. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so glad that you're here for this special New Year's edition of Mindfulness Monday. And as we arrive at the beginning of a new year, there can be this unspoken pressure to reflect, to make plans, or to decide on how we want to be different. And today I'm going to invite us to set all of that aside. This is not a session about resolutions. This is not a session about reinventing or self-improvement. Instead, we're going to create a space to gently reflect on the year that we just lived and to open ourselves to the year ahead without needing clarity, without needing a sense of certainty, and without needing answers. Neuroscience tells us that kind and curious reflection helps the brain to integrate experience. And when we pause to make meaning rather than judge the past, our nervous system settles. We can feel more grounded in who we are and more open to what's coming. So today's time together will include quiet reflection. There will be some optional journaling. We'll definitely do a guided meditation and a simple anchor practice that you can return to throughout the year. Everything today is invitational. You're always welcome to listen, to rest, or step away as needed. So if it feels supportive, you might grab your journal or a piece of paper, a cup of tea. I see someone was just given a hot cup of something. Or simply make yourself comfortable. So let's begin. As we always do, first we'll arrive in our bodies. So take a moment to find a posture that feels right for you today, a posture that makes your body feel supported. It could be seated, lying down, or standing, whatever feels right. And if it's comfortable, close your eyes. Take a slow breath in through your nose and a long, easy breath out. Unclench your jaw. Let the shoulders melt away from your ears. And then breathe again. And allow yourself to arrive in this moment, just as you are. There's nothing you need to fix or figure out right now. And you might begin to notice sensations in your body. Maybe feeling the support beneath you, acknowledging the rhythm of your breath, breathing in and breathing out. And noticing that you are here. You're here. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. Just gently bring your attention back to your body. Bring your attention back to your body again and again. Take one more slow breath in and let it go. So before we look ahead, let's take time to honor the year that has just passed. We don't need to evaluate it, but here to acknowledge that this year has lived through you, rather than asking whether it was a good year or a hard year. I'll invite you to approach it with curiosity and compassion. I'm going to offer you a few reflections and moments of pause for the mind and the heart and the body to arrive and land into that prompt. Try not to search for answers, but just simply notice what arises when I give you a question. What arises in your thoughts? What arises in your feelings? Maybe you can notice sensations in your body, like tingling or clenching. So the first reflection: what moments, even small ones, brought a sense of comfort or aliveness this year? What moments, even small ones, brought a sense of comfort or aliveness this year? Just notice what comes to your mind, what feels in your heart. And the next reflection: when did you feel supported, connected, or less alone? When did you feel supported, connected, or less alone? And the next reflection: what surprised you about yourself this year? Notice what arises. What surprised you about yourself this year? And finally, what did you carry through that you once thought might be too heavy? What did you carry through that you thought might be too heavy? And notice where these reflections land in your body. The chest, the belly, the shoulders. Maybe there was a change in the tide of your breath. And so there's no need to change anything, just noticing is enough. And take a slow breath in and a long breath out. And if you haven't already, you can gently open your eyes. Okay. If you have a journal or a paper nearby, we'll just take about 4 to 5 minutes to write. And if writing isn't accessible for you today, you're welcome to reflect silently, listen, type if that's feeling accessible, or revisit these questions later. I'll also invite you, if you're here with a partner, a friend, maybe say your answer out loud in conversation. Using the muscle, this power of the voice can be so empowering. So, journal nearby, pen or pencil in hand, or typing fingers ready, or the vocal cords prepared to share, or the ears are prepared to listen. If you're writing, the top of that paper, I'd love for you to write. One thing this year taught me about myself is. One thing this year taught me about myself is. And we'll just pause briefly to allow yourself to write whatever comes to mind. Try not to let the thinking mind get in the way. Just write. One thing that this year taught me about myself is. Feel free to share in the chat if that's feeling called for you to share. And start to put a period dot at the end of that sentence if you're still writing. Steve from the UK says one thing that this year taught them about themselves is that they are stronger than they thought they were. Thank you for sharing, Steve. Our next journal prompt or conversation reflection or chat reflection is a moment from this year that still lingers with me is. A moment from this year that still lingers with me is. And feel free to come back to these questions if you want to share or write a little bit more. Our next prompt. Even in the midst of challenge, I showed myself that I can. Even in the midst of challenge, I showed myself that I can. Mm, really appreciating the shares in the chat. Even in the midst of the challenge, I showed myself that I can cope. Even in the midst of challenge, I showed myself that I can persist. Anthony just gifted me this smile. Even in the midst of challenge, I showed myself that I can laugh. All right. Our next prompt. Something I'm quietly proud of from this year is. Something I'm quietly proud of this year is. Something I'm quietly proud of this year is. I'd really love to read these ones if you want to share them in the chat. Went on holiday with my wife, something you're proud of. Thanks for sharing, Steve. Mm. Something I'm quietly proud of this year is being able to retire. Thank you, Mark. Able to help others. Something you're quietly proud of. Thank you, M. Baldwin. So there's no right way to respond to these questions. And Brianna, if you would post all those questions in the chat and you all can take them and respond to them perhaps in depth, or when you're sipping your coffee or tea on New Year's Day, maybe having a conversation with someone you're sharing that time with and being able to answer and converse about it together can be really powerful. Just want to thank you for taking that time. I mean, reflection like this helps the brain create coherence and meaning, right? We can come to this moment, this threshold at the end of a year and the beginning of a year, and really try and feel this moment of leaping into the new year without regarding the life and days and months and weeks just lived. So I feel it's really important to offer support for our brain and making meaning of the days just lived in this year. So thank you, and thank yourself for taking this time. Now we'll move into our guided meditation. So if there's distractions around you that you have control of, I invite you to try and remove those distractions. If the TV's on, if someone's cooking in the kitchen, or you've got music playing, or the phone might ring, just see if you can really pull away from those distractions. And I'll again invite you to allow your eyes to close or soften. You can let your hands rest comfortably in your lap on the table. And take a slow breath in through your nose. And an easy breath out through the mouth. Now, imagine yourself standing at a threshold, at a doorway, and behind you is the year that has just passed. And ahead of you is the year waiting to unfold. And you don't need to analyze what's behind you. And you don't need to decide what's ahead. You're simply standing here at the doorway, breathing, alive in this now moment. And notice what you're carrying forward with you. Strength, wisdom, tenderness, resilience, grief. What are you carrying forward? Neuroscience shows us that when we acknowledge what we've lived through, the brain builds a sense of safety and continuity. This is what allows hope to feel possible, not forced, but grounded. And if it feels supportive, I'll invite you to place a hand on your heart or your belly. And silently or out loud, offer yourself these words. I honor what I have lived. I honor what I have lived. I trust what I am still becoming. I trust what I am still becoming. I am allowed to move into this year gently. I am allowed to move into this year gently. And stay here for a few breaths, letting these words resonate in the vibration of your body, into the folds of the mind. I honor what I have lived. I trust what I am still becoming. I am allowed to move into this year gently. And take a full breath into your lungs and a full breath out. You can wiggle your fingers, toes, and nose. And open your eyes. And before we close, I want to offer you a simple anchor practice, something that you can return to throughout the year. So this isn't a goal or a resolution. It's a way to create familiarity and safety, especially when things feel unpredictable. And the practice has 3 gentle steps. Pause, name, breathe. Let's try it together. we'll pause and allow yourself to really pause for just a moment. Name, silently or out loud or to someone, name one thing that's true right now. For example, I am here, or this is hard. Naming something that's true. It could be, I'm doing the best I can. Naming helps the brain feel oriented and grounded. It also really aids that sneaky thing called anxiety. When we can name what we're feeling or what's true, it helps the brain, I call them sparkles, the brain sparkles settle, the snow globe settle. And then the third step is to breathe. Take one slow breath in and a slow breath out. And that's it. I call this my anchor practice. Pause, name something that's true, and breathe. You might choose one phrase with this practice throughout the year, such as, I can meet this moment, or I am allowed to go gently or slowly, or right now is enough. Right now is enough. Repeating familiar words helps the brain remember how to return. So if we can practice this anchoring point of pause, name, and breathe, it helps the nervous system settle. All right, I wrote a poem for you all. And if you've practiced with me over the years, you know that I love poetry. So to close our time together, I'd like to offer some words. You can listen. One practice that I love to do, it's called Lectio Divina, is just write words that I hear or have like a certain charge to them. So if your journal and paper's in hand, or if you want to use the typing into the chat, listen for the words that feel alive for you, or just simply let these words pass through. I call it a gentle beginning. You are not behind. You are not late to your life. You arrive here having lived, having carried, having stayed. This year does not ask you to try harder or become someone new. It asks only that you keep showing up with the tenderness that you've earned. Let what has shaped you be honored. Let what still aches be held with kindness. Let what's unfolding take its time. You don't have to know the way forward. You only have to keep listening to this breath, to this body, to the quiet wisdom that says, I am still here, and that is enough. Thank you for being here, for breathing together, and for allowing this moment to be exactly as it is. Happy New Year, my friends, and I will see you, hopefully, on January 5th. That's our next mindfulness session. All right, my friends, may you be well. Until soon.